I bet you don't know any of these folks, but crews just like these plant, water, weed, cut, pack, cool, and even ship 80% of the vegetables served in the United States. Workers like these are part of the 11 million undocumented immigrants that live and work in this country. None of them have permission to be here, but you won't see anybody running them away because without them, the thriving agribusiness of California would just not exist. There are no natural-born Americans standing in line for these jobs, these work conditions, or these wages. When these people are injured on the job, there is no disability payment waiting for them. When they retire, there is no Social Security check. There's a misunderstanding today that the people that come to our country do so to take advantage of our social program. If you lived with these workers, as I do, you would know that that is just not true. These folks come here from places where there is no work available. Most work so they can send money to their families in a place they still consider home. These are people who love their God, love their families, and just want a better life for their children. The individual farm workers are largely invisible. They have no representation at the local, state, or federal level. They live in constant fear that they could be deported at a moment's notice, many times leaving their children behind. Hi, my name is George Worthy. I'm a writer and a photographer, and I live in a little town called Gonzales, right in the middle of the Salinas Valley of California. In the 1950s, I was a field laborer. These people work in the same hot, dusty fields that I knew as a child. I worked with the Okies and the Japanese and the Braceros. Those workers, like these workers, filled a void where workers were needed. This is not a career path, and it's not a work of choice. It's an honorable day's work for people that have no other choice. So I have a project. I want to interview 100 of these immigrants. I want to document their lives. I want to document their stories. I want to photograph them. And I want to put together a hardback book full of photographs and essays telling their lives as they came over here to America to work. I want to take their photographs while they work, and I want them to tell the stories of their lives. Can you imagine the stories that they could tell? I want Americans to see them as individuals and not as the subject of some political stance. I want people to broaden their understanding of who these people are and to challenge some widely held beliefs. I want Americans to acknowledge and value their contributions to our way of life. Most of the farm workers, they don't seek publicity, and you can tell why. Sometimes they feel like others see what they do as demeaning and they're a little ashamed. And these are very proud people. I've been working for 20 years to gain the trust of these people in Gonzales. I photographed their weddings, their quinceañeras. I've watched their kids grow up and even taken their senior photos. I relate stories about the people that I talk to in a weekly newspaper article that I write and have been writing for the last 15 years. I was elected twice to the city council in a 94% Hispanic town and once as mayor. My wife and my family and I went with field workers into Mexico to a little tiny town called Taripasco. It's in Jalisco, Mexico. And we went to visit the families of the people that are here and to understand what they do down there and what they do up here. In addition to getting the people to agree to be photographed and interviewed, I have to also get the permission of the farmers and the farm labor contractors, and I have to get permission of the advocates for the farm workers. It has not and will not be an easy job, but it is a job that needs to be done, and I want to do it. Part of my work will also require me to go to El Centro, California during the winter and into the Yuma, Arizona growing area, because I want to show the migrant nature of this job challenges the children and practically precludes them from getting an adequate education. And at the end, I want to present to each individual I interview and photograph a copy of this hardbound bilingual book, so they'll have it as memories of the work they've done in our country and to show their children how hard they work to get there. Finally, and most of all, I need your help to make this happen. Help me show the world the life of the migrant worker, the unseen worker in America today. Help me to print a book telling of the lives and the stories of the migrant, unseen farm worker today. It's very important that you give me a hand. I can't do it by myself. So I'm asking you to help make this book possible so that I can present it to them and have it available for people to see and understand their stories. It might be the most important thing that you and I ever do in this lifetime.